Hey folks, and welcome back to the channel. Now in this one I'm going to be covering the Thursdoid blog post dropped by the Project Zomboid development team, the Indie Stone, on March 16th of 2023. I do just want to preface this one by saying that this particular Thursdoid from the team was a pretty short one for reasons I'll explain when we get into the video proper. So yeah, this video won't be incredibly long as a result of that, but all the same I did want to cover it for you guys as always. So if you find this video useful, drop the video a like and subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this one. So let's get right into it. The devs kick this one off by, as previously mentioned, stating that this blog post will be briefer and more hastily thrown together than usual. They go on to explain that they are at a messy but exciting turning point in Build 42's development, which will be setting them up for the remainder of said development. Rather than scrape together a blog whilst the devs are in the thick of things, they state they'd prefer to save what they have for a much more exciting Thursdoid further down the line, when things are also a little bit more manageable and a bit less hectic. To give everybody a better idea of what's happening, the developers then go on to cover their current situation in a bit more detail, starting with multiplayer reworks. Months of multiplayer reworking has now made its way into the main development branch, which includes moving a significant amount of the code base to being more server-based rather than client-based. That includes things like the server-side inventory system. The developers are doing this to circumvent hackers that focus on inventory items being granted that the player should clearly not have, including other reasons like desync and issues relating to inventory around disconnects and reconnects. Secondly, the developers have been working on getting the core systems of the massive crafting rework merged into this build. This will allow the wider team to start building on aspects of that system and get things like the deep crafting trees, new post-apocalypse professions, and more ready for when they're due to be released. As mentioned, the crafting overhaul is a pretty massive undertaking, changing how recipes work and items as well on a fundamental level. It's going to require some more work to port over existing items along with any that have been added elsewhere during the course of the system's development, and as such, this touches on many different areas of the codebase and can be difficult to integrate. Now, due to all these aforementioned reasons, the main branch is in a temporary state of disarray according to the developers, whilst these large systems get integrated into the mainline. They go on to say that this is going to be a very busy week for the development team as they work to squash bugs, test various aspects of the system as it integrates, and complete the integration itself to a point where it can be pushed out for public testing. To highlight a few of the main features of the new systems, the devs gave us this list to sum up the possibilities. With the new system, they'll be able to look into multi-tile machines and crafting stations, so potentially much bigger items than we have currently. It will also allow for support of networks of items, power, liquids, or gases. They then give the example that a building's heating, power, and plumbing will use these systems. Now, to my knowledge, we haven't actually had any sort of confirmation as of yet that a building would even have these extra features, so I'm interested to see how this develops over time and to see a few more specifics on this one and how it would work. Now, this next one is a big one. Items both crafted and looted that will be able to have varied statistics and unique properties that alter how they function beyond the simplistic condition modifier in the current game. This will provide a deeper variety of gameplay to crafted and looted items. Now this one in particular stands out to me as we've seen mods recently like Champy's weapon modifiers that add more randomized stats to weaponry, which was inspired by Terraria's way of doing things if you're familiar with that. I'm wholeheartedly enthusiastic about this sort of setup, and I'm interested to see if this statement is indeed leading towards that kind of system being a possibility in the future. Even a more grounded version of that would be fantastic. Lastly, the recipe system has become much more in-depth and customizable, allowing for much more interesting crafting processes and possibilities. Again, I'm looking forward to seeing some representations of this in the future so we can understand what it truly means, but it's certainly a step towards the advanced crafting system we've been hearing about over the past few months. Now, following on from this, the developers do say that there's a lot of work to be done here, but it's something that does have to be done, and once it is, the situation going forward will be a lot more exciting. Once this segment is complete, the devs say they hope to have a large portion of the code team contributing towards building out some of the crafting trees being designed, and then we should be able to get some exceptionally cool stuff coming our way in future Thursdoids to show for that. The developers are aware that this aspect of Build 42 has been shown off the least out of everything so far, mainly because the work done so far has been about fundamentals that these systems can build on, like the fluid systems or crafting stations that we've seen in former blogs, rather than stuff that will offshoot from these fundamentals. So hopefully some juicy content to come in the future Thursdoids, but for now, we were given this teaser bit of footage showing someone falling from a very, very high height. For those that don't remember, we were previously told that the developers have been working on expanding the playable map to many levels both below and above ground. From that, we're going to get the basements feature that has been talked about previously, and as we can see, some very tall buildings. There's some other cool stuff in the works at the moment, and we're teased with this image which was inserted into the Thursdoid this week, showing a whole range of sleeping bags and tents along with some other items. The developers say we're going to see more on this in the coming weeks, but for now, they've left us with this as a teaser. That's it from me in this one, folks, but as always, there is a link in the description if you want to read the blog post in full, and if you've got any thoughts or opinions on what you're excited about from this blog, go ahead and let me know in the comments section below. Always like to hear from you guys on this sort of thing. If you haven't heard already, we've opened a second, wider community server, which allows for supporters of the channel of any kind to join. Whether you choose to do that on a YouTube membership with the £1 package or on Patreon with a £3 package, the choice is absolutely yours, and it has been awesome seeing everyone playing recently, and I'm glad people have been enjoying that server so far. A very special thank you to all my existing patrons over on the Patreon as well for joining us on our other Patreon server, and thank you, folks. I will see you all in the next one.